Happiness requires practice and commitment. This is something I think most people who visit spiritual type of internet or YouTube channels, they don't want to hear it. And it's actually a very essential element to spirituality that I don't think is discussed enough. So you may have had the experience before of making some kind of a breakthrough. Maybe you started meditating. Maybe you manifested something that you had been trying to manifest for a long time, and you used certain techniques and it worked out. Maybe you faced a triggering situation and either were triggered way less than usual or not triggered at all. All of these are great things. But what almost inevitably happens with pretty much all of us is we fall back into old patterns, into old narratives, into old behaviors, and into old reactivity issues. And we kind of feel like we got back to square one, which can be extremely discouraging and defeating. And what I've noticed on my own spiritual journey is that what we are doing is basically unlearning all of the stuff that our society kind of pounds into us from a certain age, certain young age, about our self-worth, how we're supposed to act, behave, so that people think a certain way of us, fitting in. And we, very early on in life, kind of stop supporting, like backing ourselves up, and we lose touch with our inner self. And then we have to return to it. And that process of returning to it requires, it's basically an unlearning. And I think what the piece that people miss is that they think, well, if spirituality is our nature, is our true nature, which it is, right? We're all spirits in the material world, as Sting so eloquently put it. We are all inherently spiritual. I'm no more or less spiritual than you are. We're all 100% spiritual. So if we're naturally spiritual beings, then why should a sense of peace and joy be so fleeting and so difficult to maintain a grasp of? And the reason that is because this gauntlet that we've created, this earth game, whatever you want to call it, is constructed specifically to test us, to challenge us for the sake of our souls evolving. So it's part of the system. It's part of the game. It's supposed to continually challenge us to see if we've really made that progress. So this is why any type of spiritual progress, any type of momentum around manifesting the things you want. Remember, we're always manifesting. There's only manifestation. There's nothing else. Everything you see in your reality, down to the color of the cups you have in your kitchen, you manifested. So there's nothing else. Okay? So to stay on track and to stop getting knocked off of your pedestal, maybe for lack of a better word, it requires kind of constant work, discipline, commitment, vigilance. This means around specifically making sure that you're staying aware, always returning to awareness, returning to, as soon as you start to get sucked into those narratives, into those emotions, taking a deep breath and returning to the idea of this emotion is happening within awareness. All of this is happening within consciousness. So if, when people think that spirituality should come easy, or not spirituality, that happiness, right, should come easy, or that manifesting what I want should be an easy thing if it's related to my innate nature. But that's not the case, because we're really here to kind of first discover our egos, suffer through our egos, and then unlearn a bunch of stuff to return to our true nature. That's what we're here for. So we need to always kind of check ourselves and always return to the methods and the techniques, if we have them, if we're using them, that make us feel grounded again. And the good thing is that the more you do that, the easier it gets. So as long as you keep doing that, it'll get easier and easier to stay untriggered, to avoid some of the darker narratives that may be at play in your life, and to just simply return to awareness. That was just the main message I wanted to provide today. I felt for some reason a sudden need to. I've been having certain conversations with people online and offline about these things, and there seems to be a misunderstanding that all of this should either come easy or should happen like as a kind of like a boom, like all at once, and suddenly you're magically enlightened. But it's not the case. Anyway, thank you for listening.